And so when I sat in CVS's parking lot, that's all I could think about was, you cannot do this alone. Like, something has to change. And it's weird because I felt like I was trying to change every time I tried to lose weight. A work meeting, I felt things get a little slippery. And so I stood up, and the lady beside me was like, "Oh my gosh, I wanted to sit back down." And I was like, "What is it?" And she's like, "There's like something all over your pants. Like, I think you sat in salad dressing, or there's something." It was the leakage. I had leaked. Like,
No way.
sitting, said my prayers, and in my mind, I was like, because if this doesn't work, like, I don't know what else to do. Like, I've been there, I've done that. At one point, I even bought this little. Mm-mm.
So this is a question that I just couldn't wait to ask you. In your videos, you talk a lot about your personal life. Like, what made you decide to do that?
I
Hello, hello. I would like to welcome Allanda today. Allanda is our special guest, and today we will be interviewing her, and I have been looking forward to this. I'm just so excited. I don't even know what to say. So let's get right into it. So, Allanda, how are you?
doing pretty good. It's been a busy day, but that's every day.
It's every day. You look great. You look great. I love your
Thank
curls and your
you.
hair.
Thank you. I'm trying
Uh,
something different.
Trying something different. I love it. Well, Alonda, let's just get started. Tell us about yourself. We want to know about your background. We want to know how you started on your Zepbound journey. So, can you start off telling us about that?
Yeah. So I'm Allanda. I am 47 years old. I'm a school teacher, high school, and a mother of six. I have two biological children and then four adopted children. Um, for most of my, I would say almost half of my life, I have been overweight. Growing up, I teeter tottered between 115 to about 120. And then when I got pregnant in 2001, I gave birth at 190. And I could not leave 190. I didn't think I was big. Like, I thought, oh, it's just pregnancy weight. But over time, 23 years now, that weight has not left.
So, that started the weight, your issues with weight. So,
Yeah,
you can relate to people who we talk about how they didn't have weight struggles before and then it just
yeah.
came on. All right. So what led you to your Zepbound journey? So when did you get out of Wonderland? You were 190. When did you like go over that hump? When you leave Wonderland, I just feel like there's no turning back. Like it's hard to get back down once you get over that 200 hump. So how did you get there?
It was a process. I started basic. Like, after I had my son, my mindset was work out because that's all I'd done. Like, my whole childhood through high school through college, I worked out. I was in boxing, I was in dance, I was a cheerleader. So I worked out and nothing changed. Zero changed. I toned, but the weight itself did not change. And then my doctor at the time suggested Weight Watchers. She was like, it's probably what you're eating. So that's the first time I got on Weight Watchers. And that just really wasn't me. I'm not a numbers girl. I did it for about a year. But when I saw myself counting grapes and putting them in a bag, I was like, what the hell am I doing? I'm so over this.
We've been there with the Weight Watchers.
I'm like, I'm over this. So I let go of that. And I went back to my doctor, and my doctor put me on, I cannot remember the name of it, but it's kind of like Ally. Ally is like the over the counter, but I had the name brand. And that
It
was a,
required a prescription. Did it
yeah,
require a prescription? Okay.
it was like a fat blocker.
Okay.
And that was the first time I ever got on a medication. So I got on that. My son had to be about two. And that was a boo boo show, SHIT show. Literally, kid you not. It was truly a fat blocker. So anytime I ate anything that blocked fat, it leaked out. And my
Oh,
last straw, oh yeah, because at that point I had creeped just over 190. That's when she put me on the medicine, because she was like, wow, Weight Watchers didn't make you go down. Okay, let's put you on the medication. So on that fat blocker, I had one bad incident. Like, I was at work and we were in a meeting. We were at the table. We were eating. It was a work meeting. During the work meeting, I felt things get a little slippery. And so I stood up, and the lady beside me was like, oh my gosh, Allanda, sit back down. And I was like, what is it? And she's like, there's like something all over your pants. Like, I think you sat in salad dressing, or there's something. It was the leakage. I had leaked, like,
No way.
sitting there in that hour-long meeting, leaked through. Yeah. So she gave me her sweater, and I literally went to Mervyn's, and I had to buy a new dress, new underwear. I then put on
Before you even got home.
oh yeah,
Oh,
before I even
wow.
got, because I had to go back to work.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, and try explaining why you need to go buy some clothes. Like, I'm
Yeah.
leaking. I gotta go get some clothes. But my
Now,
boss is
wait, so
very,
you knew that could be a side effect before you took it, but you just probably were thinking like, that's not gonna happen to me.
right. I had just
Yeah.
finished, healthy eating through Weight Watchers. I mean, I'm eating healthy, but
Yeah.
even the salad dressing, if the salad dressing had fat, oh, it came out. It came out. If um anything with fat came out. Yeah. So there
Oh,
was no
wow.
way I was eating a hamburger. There was no, I mean, truly shifting my mind to eating veggies, but you couldn't even put butter in your veggies because the butter would then come out. So
Wow.
I did that, and I suffered through that. I suffered. I was wearing Depends. I had a 2-year-old, and I was wearing Depends because that's what caused that. And a lot of my girlfriends were like, Alonda, you can't be serious. This what you're doing now? And yeah, that's what I was doing. I broke the 190s, but then I stopped taking the medicine because I'm like, is it really worth it to be boo-booing on myself? And
Now,
I've
what
got
did your
found that
significant other say during this time? Like,
we were not in a
would you
good
ever
place.
have an incident with him when this was going on?
No,
Okay,
we
like,
were
I mean, like, when you were, like, hanging out together on a date or whatever, like, hanging out? Okay, so okay, good.
no, we were not. Crazy story. We had actually dated. He's in a fraternity, I'm in a sorority, and we kept seeing each other a lot. And eventually we just started dating. And along with that, we ended up getting pregnant, which is crazy because he's the one that told me I was pregnant. He was like, hey, you're pregnant. I have a degree in child development. So I ignored every sign possible. Like, oh, I'm a little tender. Oh, I'm sleeping. Oh, I don't eat that anymore. I don't like that. I had an excuse for
Mm,
everything.
mhm.
I have a new job. I got a promotion, so I have a new job. I'm on a weight loss, so I can't eat that. Like, I literally had an excuse for every symptom. My cycle's gonna start, So,
Yeah,
sure enough, I was pregnant, and we had actually broken up by that point. And
okay.
so once we realized that I was truly confirmed pregnant, we decided to co-parent. And so during that time, those 2 years where I was trying to lose weight on my own and through my doctor's suggestion of Weight Watchers and the medication, we only talked about our son. That was it. He needs
Okay.
diapers or his child support. Like, that's all we spoke about. I would have never told him about that embarrassing moment.
Okay,
My
okay, okay.
coworkers knew, and that was my first stint of a community because they would talk about like Weight Watchers and Nutrisystem, and that was all new to me. So it was
Yeah.
interesting.
Well,
Mhm.
that's good, that's good. The community aspect.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
yeah.
So, okay, so that did you take anything else before Zepbound? So you took that, and then when you were over with that, then what happened?
I was over with that medication. Then I started hitting the gym again because I had dropped down just a little under 190. So I was like, okay, girl, you can do this. Like,
Right,
the
yeah.
scale
I
can
got it
move
from
in your
here.
favor. Yes.
Yes.
So I started working out again. Yeah, I worked out. That's really what I did. But again, nothing changed. Nothing changed. I moved to South Carolina when my son was 4. So now it's 4 years of me battling my weight. And I moved because my mom was having some health issues, and I'm an only child. So I moved to be closer to her, which is weird because she was in Arizona. She moved, and as soon as she got there, that's when she was diagnosed. So
Oh, okay.
at first I was like, I'll come and hang out, but I'm gonna stay here. But I ended up moving, and I got there, and she just kept reminding me, "You got to lose the weight. You got to lose this weight. You got to lose this weight. What can we do to lose the weight?" I got on Nutrisystem, Nutrisystem, where they send you the food.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
did that.
I
Went through
tried that too.
and that it really didn't work. So I did Nutrisystem. Um, I started going to a clinic, and they were giving me shots with in conjunction of the Nutrisystem. I moved to Houston. I joined a different weight loss clinic where you bought all of your food from them. That
Mm-hmm.
didn't work. I did like a B12, eat 500 calories, give yourself or go and get a shot every week. I did that program. That didn't help. And through all of this, the scale was just going up, 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 up.
Right, yeah.
So it was really complexing. I'm like, how is it that I'm doing all this, but nothing's working? And
I bet you your metabolism was out of whack by that point.
mhm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then the stress I was dealing with my mom passing and moving from
Oh,
South
for
Carolina
sure, for
to
sure.
Texas. But I didn't factor any of that in because that's just never where my mind span was. All I knew was work out, lose weight.
Right, yeah, yeah,
So when
yeah.
I couldn't lose the weight, I was confused. I was so confused. So anything someone told me, you drink coffee in the morning, avocado for lunch, and then a piece of salad for dinner. I was on that. Oh, okay, let's do that. So I was very
Mhm.
game. Eventually, I got to my current doctor, and this was 2016. And
So
she
what
put,
made you leave North Carolina? Because your mom passed on, and then you decided. What made you go to Texas? Did you have family there, or
yeah, I'm from
okay?
Texas.
Oh, you're from Texas. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. So you went back.
I
Okay,
went
okay,
back.
okay.
I graduated from high school here, moved to South, no, graduated from high school, moved to Arizona for college. And that's again because my mom moved. Her job moved her, so I followed.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought my first house, and my mom's job gave her a promotion, but that brought her to South Carolina. And I was like,
Okay.
I just bought this house. Like, I just got my furniture out of layaway.
Yeah, I used to love layaway.
Like, I can't move yet.
Yes, yes.
And so she was like, well, come out when you can. And we ended up going to Disney World. She wanted to see, her grandson, her only grandson. So we all flew out to Disney. And during that trip, remember how I talked about me leaking? She
Mm-hmm.
was leaking. Yeah,
What
she
was
was
she
leaking.
looking from?
Well, we were thinking, it was stress of her new job. But she kept saying, I'm not going to worry about it until I get back home. And I was like, are you sure you're not on that medicine? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah,
all
that's
I
what I'm
could think
thinking.
about. You on that medicine? And when she got back, that's when they diagnosed her
You
with
found out it
stage
was
4.
related to her
Yeah.
illness.
She
Yeah.
had stomach cancer. So there was
Yeah.
a lot going on down there.
I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. So you had a lot of stress and just the back and forth, and
Hmm.
you had a lot going on. You had a lot going on. So no wonder there was weight issues
Yeah.
going on. So you're back in Texas where you
Yes.
are, that's familiar. And then you go to the doctor, and what happened?
She looked at me and was like, what's going on with your weight? And this was 2007. So
Okay,
she's
okay.
like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. I can't figure it out. And so she put me in touch with several nutritionists.
Okay.
Um, that didn't work out. But my doctor never wanted me to try something and get right off of it. So she would always stick it out for 6 months. Okay. do another 6 months. So pretty much everything I did for a year. Because
I
she kept
see.
saying, you're not going to see quick weight loss. It's going to take time. And in my mind, again, I'm used to quick weight loss. You need to lose 5 pounds. You run the block a couple of times, bam, it's
Mm-hmm.
gone.
Let's go.
So
Yeah.
um, it was just new. Um, I I was really just at a desperate point. Like I said,
Now, at this point, you were in your 30s, right? At
yeah,
this point?
I'm in my
Okay.
30s and I'm now like 215, 220, kind of top.
Okay.
I
Okay.
done skipped the 90s. Those were so long gone.
Yeah.
And each year, my mind would just be like, well, you're 215, when 220 hit, we'll do something serious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We at 220, what you doing, girl? All right. Well, when 225 hit, we'll work it out. So every 5-10 pounds, I had a plan, but the weight just kept adding. I even looked at having bariatric surgery. That was like, I'll
That was
just
an
have the
option.
surgery. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because at that
Wow.
point I was like 230.
Okay. Okay.
But the money,
Wow.
it was crazy. It's like $13,000. The school district wouldn't cover it, but they would cover weight loss medication. So in 2016, I got on Saxenda. And
Oh, okay. Okay.
Saxenda. And that worked. I got down to 180, which is why the title's
Wow.
180. Because I've seen that number. I,
Yeah. No wonder you went back to that because you thought, okay, this worked before
yeah,
at some point.
yeah. And it did. Like I was doing it, but I wasn't doing it. Like I wasn't changing my eating habits. I had stopped cold turkey on working out. Like, So I got on Saxenda, and the medicine was working, but I wasn't actually doing my part. Like I wasn't working for the medicine. I was still eating normal. I had stopped working out cold turkey. Like I didn't want to see a gym, touch a gym. I was so over gyms because of my previous experience. At that point, I was like, what's the point? I'm going to work out and nothing's going to change. And
Yeah.
so I did get down to 180 and I was like, okay, we're good here. We are good.
We'll
Mind
take
you,
it.
yeah, my doctor was kind of like, because again, she's not a quitter. She was like, let's keep going. And eventually I just couldn't break the 180s. Like I stayed in the 180s for like several months, 6 months. I guess now they would call it a stall.
Mm-hmm.
And so I reached out to her and was like, I'm not taking this anymore because it's a daily injection every day. And it's very motivating to do it every day when you're seeing the weight loss.
Yes, I can
And
see that.
anytime I had to increase, I would get really, really sick. Like down for the count, I'm on the floor, I'm crawling around. It was really bad. So
Wow.
I was done with that. Yeah.
Okay, so no more Saxenda. So then what did you do?
After Saxenda, nothing. Yeah.
Okay. And so
So,
that's how you got up to the 264?
well, I got to 240. Um, I ended up getting up because I did Saxenda from 2016 to almost 2018.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Okay, so
yeah,
almost a couple of years.
yeah. And my school district was paying for it. So it was like $25 a month. I was like, okay, that's fine.
Mhm.
um, so after 2018, the weight just kept changing, going up, going up, going up. I stopped focusing on myself. If I'm honest, I kind of given up on myself because I was like, is no point. What's the point? It's going to keep going up. And so I put all my strength and energy and focus on my kids. And that worked for several years until they got really busy. And then I was struggling physically to attend stuff, to go to competitions. Um, I just
Because of
literally
the
had,
weight? Because
yeah.
of the weight? Okay,
hmm Going to stadiums and having to walk up the stairs and walk down the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
I had developed plantar fasciitis with your feet, the issues with
Oh,
the
my
feet.
goodness.
I
Yeah, I hear
developed,
that's painful.
yeah, yeah. And my knees were, ooh, my knees were something special. They were stiff, but then you could feel them like cracking. I breathed really hard. Like sometimes we would just be sitting in a stadium watching a basketball game, and I could
Mhm.
hear myself breathing. Like
Yeah.
just sitting there, I could, and I would be like, "Oh my gosh, that is me," you know. And
Yeah.
yeah, if I can hear it, I know everyone else around me was hearing it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That sounds so heartbreaking. So now at that point you was in the 240s. You
Uh,
said, right?
I was playing between 240s and 250s. I didn't even
250.
look at the scale. The scale was not my friend.
So
Uh,
what were you thinking to yourself? Like I'm breathing hard, people can hear me. Now in the meantime, you're back with your
mhm.
significant other. So was he saying anything? Were the kids saying anything about your weight and the breathing and any of that? No,
Not
no one said
really.
anything.
His big thing was make sure I had on my CPAP. Have your
For
CPAP
that
on.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even down to that, when I got the CPAP, um, my 11-year-old was 1. So I got that because I was waking up everybody in the house. So if it really wasn't for that reason, I wouldn't have done the sleep study and actually got on the machine. That was 2001. So I wasn't even at my heaviest.
Okay.
Um, but there was enough weight on me to cause me to stop breathing at night. So yeah, and
Oh wow.
that was about the only one time where he was like, "You got to do something." Like, you stop breathing. I was like, no, you think I'm stopping. I'm not stopping. But I was stopping. Yeah. The
Mhm.
test results showed that I was stopping.
That you were
Well,
stopping, which is so dangerous.
yeah. It was like over 50 times in an
Oh,
hour.
wow.
So it was like every other minute. It was something really crazy where I was like, are you sure? Like, can I look at the name and
Mhm,
make sure it's
mhm.
me? Like,
Mhm.
I don't believe that's me.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we just are in denial.
Yeah.
You don't wanna think it could happen to you.
Yeah.
So
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 I've
then
been,
that still wasn't like your wake-up call. So what prompted you to when you hit that 264, was it well, I know from watching your
ooh,
videos, it was that picture, you saw that picture,
yeah,
264.7.
yeah.
So so how do you get on Zepbound? So you see that you're at this family event, you're feeling uncomfortable,
Oh,
you
yes.
see that picture, you run that picture back, and I think that's done it for a lot of us, the
Yeah,
picture. And then you realize like this is me. And
yeah.
so what did you do? What did you do from there?
Butterflies all over again. I had actually gone to my doctor in January for my well check, and she was talking about my weight, and I was just like, like
Yeah,
we've
like this
tried
is me.
everything. What is your point now?
Mhm.
And even if she had brought up Zepbound, I probably would not have done anything at that moment, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Um, because any other time she was like, let's check your cholesterol, let's check your diabetes. I mean, she was on top of let's check everything. And I would like, let's do it. But then I didn't really care anymore. Like, okay, well, I'm pre diabetic. All right. Okay. No cholesterol. All right. I'm gaining weight. All right. But when I saw that picture, and really, I think what did it for me is I didn't have anyone to hide in front of or behind. Like all my other pictures, I could throw a kid in front of me. I could get the angle just right where you
Mhm.
could only see like my shoulder. You couldn't see my lower half. I had gotten really good at finding angles.
Mhm.
As being a high school teacher. Oh no, you got to move the camera. Oh yeah. So at my aunt's birthday party, everything was straight on, and everyone lined up. So I literally saw me. I saw me for how everybody else saw me. And that was my wake up call. I hadn't seen myself straight on in a photo in a very, very long time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I've had that moment too. So you gotta tell us, how did this Zepbound come into your life? So did the doctor bring it up? Did you hear about it? And yeah, how did
No,
you get
I reached
Zepbound?
out. I was like,
You reached
hey,
out to the doctor. Okay.
um, what can we do? And she was like, well, come on back in. And so,
So
we
because that was in
talked.
February. So this was the wellness check was in January. Then February, the doctor said, come on back in.
Yeah,
And you
come on
went
back
back in.
in. Because I guess one of the protocols was to have labs done right before starting the medication.
Hmm.
I had labs done, but my labs were from January. So um, I came in, she told me there's this medication. She told me the side effects. She told me it was like Saxenda. She's like, it's like it. There's some different pieces to it, but you've been on Saxenda. You just don't have to do a daily shot. And I was like, all right. I was worried about the side effects because with Saxenda, like I said, every time I titrated up, I was out for the count. And she just told me, drink tons of water, get on your fiber. I don't even think she mentioned protein, if I'm 100%. I don't think she said protein. I know she said water, fiber, and she pushed my iron pills. She was like, make sure you take your iron pills. And I mean, she was talking like I don't know if she had the study in her computer, but she
Hmm.
was saying numbers that I was like, oh, yeah, let's do that. Um, and then she hit me with the cost because as we were having that meeting, her office lady was running around doing the numbers. And she's the one that came back and said it's going to cost you $550 a month. My doctor was telling me numbers about how much you could lose. The office lady was running the numbers
Okay,
on
okay.
the insurance. And I was like, all right,
What was your reaction? You were just like, okay, let's do it.
let's do that.
Okay.
She was doing the pre-authorization. She had pulled my sleep study, and they were like, had this little like, we're gonna send this, and man, and most people say their doctor's visits are like 5-10 minutes. I promise you, I'm in that room with my doctor at least 25 minutes. I think that's why she puts me at the end of the day because I be in there with
Yeah, I'm in there too. Yeah, yeah. But I have questions though,
yeah,
like I have questions.
that's me.
Hmm.
So she put in the order and CVS called like a day later and was like, your medication's ready. And so I got to CVS. I picked it up and I kind of sat in the car for a moment and I said my prayers, and in my mind I was like, because if this doesn't work, like I don't know what else to do. Like I've been there, I've done that. At one point I even bought this little toxic pill that you put in your belly button and
Yeah,
sleep
yeah.
with it at night, and the stuff stunk to high heavens. And I was in the
Oh,
waking up in the morning, taking a shower. So I said my little prayer, and yeah. Now, what's kind of weird and crazy before all of that is that I
yeah.
had a student who had a YouTube channel, and he had special needs, and he and I would battle it. I'm like, no, you got to get off the YouTube. You got to get off the YouTube. And at our school, everyone has school computers, school issued computers. But because YouTube is seen as an educational tool, he had
Oh
full
my God.
access to his channel. And I would talk to his mom all the time. And I was the only general ed class he had. The rest of the time, he was in like an access program. So, in my mind, I'm like, dude, you can't be in here all day on your YouTube. Like, everybody else wants to be on YouTube. So, you
Hmm. Hmm.
cannot do that. And his mom, eventually told me after like the fifth or sixth time I called her. She was like, he makes money on YouTube and he has like this
Ah,
whole community of people. And unless you want to see him act out like he acts in the other rooms, give him about 10 minutes or so. Like once he's done, let him get on YouTube. because when he got bored, that's when the behaviors came out.
Yeah. Well,
And
most kids are like that. Yeah.
yeah. And so one day I walked by and I was like, so explain it. Explain to me what you're seeing. And he was telling me, he's like, and these are my people. And he was looking at the comments and I'm like, oh, like, okay. And the more he explained it, the more I felt like, oh, these are your friends. Like, okay, huh. Okay, so you have friends online. Now you know that can be dangerous though.
Hmm.
So he explained it. I mean, it was probably one of the best conversations he and I had because otherwise we were at war with each other. close the computer,
Hmm.
close the
Yeah.
computer. And so when I sat in CVS's parking lot, that's all I could think about was you cannot do this alone. Like something has to change. And it's weird because I felt like I was trying to change every time I tried to lose weight. Like I tried to make adjustments here. I tried to make adjustments here. Okay, I'll do this. Okay, I'll do that. And I mean, with Zepbound, now it was the cost. Like, okay, well, how much do you really want to do it?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
when I got home and talked to the co-parent, it was like, hey, I'm going to be taking this medication that's going to cost $550. Just letting you know. He was like, what? And we weren't really in the best of speaking terms at that moment. So he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, but don't worry because it's coming out of my extra pay. So just letting you know I'm on the medication. And he didn't know it was for weight loss. Um,
Okay.
he, he just knew it. To be honest, he probably thought it was diabetes medicine because he didn't actually see it, but he saw my sharps container. Like the sharps container
Yeah.
was in the bathroom under the sink. Um, yeah, we were not in a good place. So he didn't realize the weight loss journey um, almost a month after I'd already started. And like I said, when I was in CVS, I just knew I couldn't be by myself doing it. Like,
Yeah, so let's go back to that moment because yeah, you're gonna make me tear up too because I can relate to a moment when you just have like your lowest point or you have like you kind of like a revelation like this is it,
this
like
is
you
it.
said, this is it. I got to show up for myself. Which
Yeah.
I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's where you were at. Like, this is it
Yeah.
for me. I got to show up for myself. So, what brings on the tears? Like, which is great, but because you can tell you're heartfelt, and even in your videos, you see that like you are committed to this. Like, this has
Yeah.
been a great tool for you. So, what brings that on? Is it thinking people are saying things about your weight, or
Mhm.
feeling like for so long you couldn't get control of it? What brings that on for you?
It's the realization that, especially for my kids, like I could put any obstacle in front of them and they would achieve it without my guidance. Like, okay, you're gonna now swim. I'll get you a swim class, but you're gonna be a swimmer.
Yeah.
And they were just like, all right, okay, well, is this all you got? Like, can you do
Yeah.
better? And they'd be like, yeah, I can do better. I'm like, okay, then show me. And it worked so well for everyone else, even my students. I've had so many students who were like, Miss A, I don't know what to do. Like, in 6 months, I'm
Yeah.
graduating and I have no plan. All right, then, let's get a plan. Let's see this happen. So I have been able to help people do that for the longest time, but could not do it. And it didn't matter what obstacle, if it dealt with my weight, it was like, you're a failure. You can't do this. And that's why I said when the doctor told me the price, I was like, all right. In
Okay,
my
I
mind,
got
I was
this.
like, I think I got $600 in the account.
Yeah.
Like, what are we gonna do if I get declined?
Yes, yes, yes.
But when I was sitting in the car, I mean, yeah, that was my lowest point. I had, I put these little obstacles in front of me. Okay, don't get to 240. Oop, you're at
Mm.
240. Don't get to 245. Oop, you're at 245. Guess what? Now your bras don't fit. Guess what? Now you can't wear any pants. Okay, you're down to dresses. Okay, your dresses that you have don't fit. Okay, let's get on Shein and buy some more dresses. And I mean, and because I didn't know my size, I was like, okay, 2X. 2X would come in. No, the girls don't like that. Girls need more breathing room. So now I'm at 3X. And it was just more obstacles, more defeation. Like, you cannot do this. You think you can, but you can't. And that my weight is the only part of my life where I could not make a change. And
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. Yeah.
uh,
Well, I think that's how you know, because if you're successful and able to do so many other things, and this is the one thing, I think that's what, made me realize, but they didn't have names for it or anything, that it's more than just willpower and it's more than just, you're lazy or you don't feel like it. It is things going on with your brain, and your brain does function differently, and your hormones play a lot into it, which none of us
mhm,
really understand. For a long time, people always thought, like with me, people think because I'm a bigger lady that my mom was going to be bigger or my dad would, and they weren't. When people would see them, they
right.
would think, like, wow, they're so so. So it's a lot that goes into it. I think it's emotional. You have emotional eating and all of that. But I
Mhm.
do think it's a lot of our body that we're not in control of. Like we're not on the
Yeah.
same playing field as somebody who doesn't have a weight issue.
Yeah.
And so, have you felt released from that? Have you felt released from thinking that I was just lazy, I couldn't do it, I had no willpower?
Oh, yeah.
Because don't you feel like you have, even though this is a tool, don't you feel like your willpower has kicked in on this?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it's not totally, and that's what people don't understand. It's not totally just the medication. It's also you. It just helps you be able to, keep the suppression going. And sometimes I feel like the medication for me, like whatever that fourth day is when it kind of wanes off, I feel like a superhero because I'm coming
Yeah.
in to like it take me through to like get that injection. And
Yeah.
so that makes me feel good, and so I needed that little support. I needed that extra boost to kinda get me through. So I guess I look at it from that perspective. So
Yeah.
you're taking this Zepbound, you're in CVS, we're in CVS with you. You're sitting there, you got that medication, you have
Yeah.
this moment, and so does your mindset change? Like, because it's also, I think, your mindset has to change. Your mindset did not change then.
No, my son's school was a 6-minute drive from CVS. So I said my prayer in the car, and I had some tears, I had some moments. And then I drove to Carline. And as I sat in Carline, all I could think about was my student and how he was like, "These are my friends. These are my."
On YouTube.
And so
Wow.
I grabbed my phone and I recorded, and I am not gonna cry, but in my heart of hearts, it was like, who gonna want to watch you? Like, girl, who is gonna want to watch all your 4 roles?
And
And in my
everybody watching this video is saying, "Us, me," because we love your videos.
but I was just in Carline, like, I don't know what else to do. So I recorded and I was like, hey, I just got my medicine. And I was so excited about getting my medicine. Like, I was like, okay, this is it. This is gonna I paid $550. Like, this
Yeah.
is gonna work. And I recorded the videos, and then just anytime something happened, I just started recording, like, oh, guess what? I'm a little nauseous. Because being nauseous meant it was working. Um,
Yes, and people have said that, I've heard that, like, "I want those side effects because I know it's working."
yeah. And then, like, I got to work the next day and I had a little headache. I'm like, I got a little headache, but we're good.
Mhm.
And in my mind, I was like, if one person watched, I have one new friend. Like, I got a
Mhm,
friend
mhm,
in that one
mhm,
person.
mhm.
Um, and that's really like the first comment. And I keep saying I'm gonna go back and find the very first comment. Um, that is when I had that aha moment. I'm not alone. And that's when the floodgates opened and said, talk about your journey. Like, good, bad, ugly. At that point, I really didn't change what I was doing. I wasn't working out. I did have the hunger suppression, so I knew I was making plates, but I wasn't finishing them.
Mhm. But
And
you eat really small portions
I
too.
do, yeah. And I'm learning because even with some of those small portions, my body would be like, we good." And I'm like, "Are we though? Are we good?" And I'd have to read my own cues, like, "Girl, you're good." So, all right. If I need something else, I will grab a snack. So that's one reason why I do carry the snacks. But it was like 2 weeks into my journey, I went to Whataburger, and I made a short about it. I didn't even know what shorts were, but the video was so short that YouTube was like, "This is a short." I
Okay,
was like,
yeah.
"Okay." Um, but I was in the car and I was like, "Hey," because I was so proud. Like, I was over the moon proud. I got a kid's meal and I barely ate it. Like, I ate a few fries, I ate a little bit of burger, and I was still on 2.5. And that was like my oh moment, because it was like, you can control something. Like, you might
Yes.
actually have this. Because every other weight loss journey, I didn't have it. I was trying to have it, but I had no control. The scale did what it wanted to do. Yeah, I
Mhm.
ate and, did that part. But then I would try to go work out to counteract. And my body was just like, no, no, we're going to stay where we are. So when I start changing my food and I start seeing the scale, it was like, okay, you can do this. And
So did your mind shift kick in then, or you still was kinda the same?
a little bit, a
A
little bit.
little bit, a
Yeah,
little
I was
bit,
like,
okay.
okay, eat less, drink your water, because the constipation was no joke.
So the side effects you had is constipation, you've had, you said a headache, a slight
Hmm.
headache, and then I know you talked about insomnia, like
Oh
not
yeah,
being able to sleep on your injection night. I don't know, is it
yeah.
just the first night after or during the
Like two
of
or
the injection, 2
three.
or 3 nights?
Yeah,
And then, of course, the constipation. So what do you do for constipation? Because I think that probably is the most common side effect, that
yeah.
we hear about.
Well, in the beginning, I just increased my water, but increasing my water for me meant I drank 2 water bottles. Like, oh, girl, you did 2 of them today. You did good.
Really?
Yeah, but
Oh my goodness.
I had to think back of when my son got really constipated many years ago, and his doctor talked to him about going to a water park. When you go to a water park, stuff can't move if it doesn't have water. And so I was like, okay, I need to up my water. So that's when I got my orange coolest bottle, and I was drinking 2 of those, and those are 24 ounces. So I was like, okay, I've got this
So you
now.
had 48,
I
yes.
had 48 ounces, and I was going every other day at that point
Mhm,
instead of every 3 days, almost 4 days.
mhm.
Um, and then I started taking fiber. But even then, if you weren't drinking the water, you put all the fiber in your body, but stuff was having a hard time moving. So eventually I got a bigger one. It was
Okay,
like,
okay.
let's go for two. You can do 2 of these. And so that's really when I started increasing my water. I just don't like being constipated. It it
Oh,
it,
sure, yeah.
it messes with my actual belly. Um, like when I try to, that's another reason why I didn't wear jeans. My belly was pretty over the top. And so anytime I put pants on, it like cut my stomach in half. Like my belly got cut in half, and then I get
Mhm.
home and it was just uncomfortable. Now I'm itching because of all the patterns from my pants.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So yeah, the water was a big one. Um, and then I watched some content creators and listened to some of their suggestions. At the time, I only knew one, and she's like the queen bee. I think she's probably at 100,000 followers now. But yeah, in the very beginning, she had like 86,000 followers, and For me, I was like, okay, she's got the golden book. I need to follow
Mm-hmm.
everything she says.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized that's when I realized everybody's journey was not the same. When people would comment about stuff, and I'm like, that's not me. I don't have that issue. I don't have that issue. Ooh, I do have that one. Ooh, I got that one. Oh, y'all taste weird stuff too? I taste weird stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because every now and then I get like a metal weird taste. And it's usually like a day after the shot. Yeah. And
I get a
it's
dry
nice.
mouth, and I don't know if it's a metal taste with it, but yeah, it's like instantly like my mouth is dry and you want to
Yeah.
drink lots of water, which is a good thing because it
Yeah.
makes you want to drink. But yeah, but I take it at night and then I don't want to drink so much because I don't want to be up going to the restroom. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, I think that's the great thing about now, because you started your channel in February.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And
Yeah.
so now it's so many more content creators.
Yeah.
You have a variety of people to make a connection with. And
Yeah.
I think that's important. So I love the way people are getting on here and telling their story.
Yeah.
So do you count calories, Alanda? I know
No,
you were into the small portions. You don't count calories. So how do you know if you're going way under?
I don't.
You,
I don't.
you said
Um,
I don't.
I don't. But I like when I look at what I eat, and everything changes. Like I'm not very stuck on one thing. Like even my snacks change from week to week. So I kind of have an idea of how much are in each calorie of those snacks. My doctor told me, she wants me to be at 1,500, something like that.
Hmm.
Which, and I remember this from somewhere that whatever you want to be, that number usually counts on your calories. So if you want to be 150, you should eat like 150.
Okay,
Yeah.
heard that too.
Yeah. So for when she told me that, I was like, okay, I remember that. We can do that. And so that's kind of where my number hit, especially when I realized that I was going to start decreasing my food. I had done the whole drink coffee in the morning, eat an avocado, eat a piece of lettuce. So I didn't want to do that.
I
Um,
want some food, but just
yeah.
a smaller amount of it.
Yeah. The
Okay, yeah.
500 calorie a day, I've done that. The My Fit Foods, I've done that. So I did not want to let that be my lifestyle for moving forward. And even that was a moment because I just thought I was losing weight. Like, girl, you're going to be losing weight. You're going to lose weight. And then it started dawning on me like, girl, you can lose the weight, but that scale going to keep going back up if you do what you used to do. And that's
Well, I
when
love how in the first couple months, I think your first 3 months, you dropped 30 pounds. Didn't
yes.
you like it? So you were like,
I,
and even
ooh,
since we talked, you were like, I just knew I was gonna be loose. I just knew this weight was going 6 months. I was gonna be where I
yes.
was gonna be. And and I think that's true of any weight loss. At the beginning, those pounds fall off, and then your body says, not so fast.
Yeah, hold on.
Not so fast. Like we like being at this weight, like we about to slow this down.
Yeah.
And so that happened to you. And
Yeah.
it's just been so, entertaining and just fun to watch your journey and watch your struggles with, wanting to have that, you're having those cravings because, sometimes you're on this medication, you do. And I
Yeah.
say, satisfy that craving and keep it moving. Instead of eating the whole thing, eat a fourth of it, a half of it, and keep it moving. Because I think if you don't, for me, if I don't, I'm gonna come back to it and I'm gonna
Oh yeah.
eat I'm gonna come back with a vengeance and eat the whole
Mm-hmm.
thing. So
It
I've
is.
learned that. Like if I want pizza, I'm gonna have that little slice of pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm proud because I'm eating one instead of three.
Yeah.
Before I would eat three slices, now I'm just eating one. And I don't have to have pizza again for a very long time.
Yeah.
So my thing is all things in moderation is works for me. And so I feel like that's the route you're going to.
Yeah. It is. Plus it helps when I have all the kids in the house. The budget is not set up for multi meals.
Sure.
No,
As
we
you have
do
a
one
large
meal.
family.
And that's what we're all eating. Now you have a choice of not eating that. But these are your options. And so yeah, it was It was a moment, and I have this written down because I had like a little moment the other day. It took me 19 weeks to lose 40 pounds. Okay.
Oh, okay. Wow. Wow.
19 weeks, 40 pounds. But it took me 23 weeks to lose 26.4 pounds. Yeah.
Yes. And that's
I
how
was
that
like,
weight loss goes.
yeah. So when
Yes,
I
yes.
realized that, because like I said, $550 a month, I was like, that's cool. By summertime, I'm at 150. We're good. And when that did not happen and my body was slowing down and I'm having to really work at it, that's when I kind of got a little nervous, like, you gonna have to stick with this, like, because your doctor not gonna just let you off.
Yeah,
She's not gonna
yeah.
just be like, okay. um yeah, even down to when I had to tell her that, you know I'm still on the medicine. I'm still there. Even though I knew I'd switched over to a compound. She don't like that word. She don't like compound.
She don't like the
She
compound,
does not
yeah.
like that word. She will, almost stand up and be like, Allanda. so so I've learned, But I feel like if I told her, hey, I really can't afford it, she would be like, well, let's look at some other options that you can't afford. I just,
And steer you away from the Zepbound. Yeah.
well, yeah,
Or the
or
or the
the compound.
tirzepatide. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, and I say stay if as long as you can work it out, stay with what's working because you went back to that Saxenda and Saxenda just still didn't agree with you.
No, that did not. And I thought she was gonna go for me on that one. Like when I sent her the message and was like, "I'm gonna take a break because I can't afford it right now. Can I do the Saxenda?" I bet, and this is just me speaking, but I bet she thought in her mind, well, as long as she doing something, like, as long as she doing something. So she was like, "Yep, you can do it if you still got a box of it." Because that box was from right before COVID. Um,
So for some years ago, years
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
Okay.
but the expiration date, and that's what she asked me. She's like, "What's the expiration date?" And I told her, and she was like, "Oh, okay. Well, yeah, keep me posted." So,
And I love that you're running things by your doctor, and
yeah,
just to check in and make sure, she's, still knows and, she can supervise and guide you. So I think that's good. And she sounds like a good doctor. She sounds like a good,
she is.
support because you don't often hear that.
No, now
Um,
I have some
you
other
know,
doctors. I don't like them,
yeah,
and if I could switch them, I would.
yeah. And sometimes those specialty doctors, I don't know if they see people just, I think their bedside manner is like in and out, like,
Yeah.
let's keep it moving. And I'm sure they have some that they're great with, but some of us, they're just like, you're passing through.
Yes.
That- and that's how you feel. So tell us about the protein. I always love to know, do you have a protein goal?
Yes. 120 is what I have been told is my number. And
Okay,
most times I get just past 100. So like 110. Um,
okay,
a couple of times a week I'll get to 120, but it's not as frequent as I would like.
okay.
My biggest protein meal is my breakfast.
And what do you have? Like, what's an example of that?
Right now, my go-to eggs with some kind of protein in it. So either chicken or steak. And lately, I've been adding spinach and small tomatoes, almost like an omelet, kind of playing around with that
Mhm.
idea. And then I'll usually have some kind of little bacon, like a little. It's not really bacon. It's a turkey, like a turkey patty,
Mhm.
because I think that's uh, 12 grams of protein in that. And then I drink my protein shake. So all in all, I'm somewhere between 50 and 60, if not 65, with my breakfast meal. And then,
Wow, so you're packed in the morning.
yeah, in the morning, I'm good. I have a snack for work that I eat around 10, and sometimes that's hard for me because I'm still full. But there's like cheese and little mini sausages. So I'll eat those or
Okay.
eat half and then pick it back up after work for my second snack.
And what's a typical dinner? Like, what's your go-to dinner?
Oh, whatever my kids cook.
No, so there, yeah, they're the chefs. Okay.
Yeah. They are in training.
So you're still eating carbs. You're not
Mhm,
cutting out. Okay, okay, okay.
yeah.
All right.
I don't, because I've done that before. Cutting out all kinds of
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Well, that's
And
probably
like,
what messed up your metabolism a
yeah,
little bit too. Yeah. So
and like
okay,
you
so
said, it's hard. And I
yeah.
like spaghetti. Spaghetti is our quick meal. We get home at 8, and most of my kids are in bed by 9. Like 9 o'clock is cut off. Phones shut off. Lights start shutting off. So between 8 and 9, we cooking fast. So spaghetti, garlic toast, salad, um, and then some kind of veggie, whatever is in a can or in the froze. It don't even matter, but we need a veggie.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So you're getting those veggies in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the metabolism, happens when you kind of mess up your metabolism. It's not eating enough,
Yeah.
the not eating enough calories. And when you were on those other diets and you talked about cutting things out and,
Mm-hmm.
having like just a very little bit of food, that probably is why the weight loss halted. So it's good that you're
Yeah.
getting a variety. So you kind of told us like what a day looks like for you. We know you're busy with your kids, you're
Mm-hmm.
up, you have that high protein breakfast, and then you have the snack at lunch, and then you pack your lunch or do you buy at your school? You
Yeah, I pack.
pack.
It's
Yeah, I
usually a
pack every day.
salad because
Okay, so
we go to Sam's and get the big salads, or sometimes we'll get the big salad and then the little bag salad so we can kind of, you know, play around with what we're doing. I have a
okay.
lot of salad toppers that I'll play around with, and then I usually have a protein with that. So either the chicken, the steak, I'll warm those up. Sometimes I get stuck on shrimp. I I'm like, I want a shrimp salad. And so,
I know, I love shrimp too. Oh my
yeah,
goodness. But I like it cooked though. I don't like
yeah,
plain shrimp. I have to have it cooked. I don't know if it's plain. I should say uncooked. I like
yeah,
cooked, sauteed, something. You gotta do
yeah.
something with it. It can't be raw.
Mm-mm.
So this is a question that I just couldn't wait to ask you. In your videos, you talk a lot about your personal life. Like, what made you
Mhm.
decide to do that?
I did not, I didn't see how I could not talk about my personal life. Because some of my eating habits are because I'm driving around like crazy. Um,
Sure.
I couldn't figure out how to talk about this weight loss journey without talking about everything that happens in my life. Like even yesterday, my daughter had a tournament. So even like with her, I'll answer it, but then I'm gonna come back to her in particular. A lot of times we are at events all day, all day. So we pay $15 to get in, and that's 9 o'clock. And then they don't have championship rounds until 7 o'clock at night. And so I'm there, and the only food is what's at the concession stand. Now I've gotten really good at packing in stuff. I can put some beef jerky in here, some grapes in here, because they don't like outside food.
You can't take a bag, yeah, like a lunch
Yeah,
bag.
so I get to stuffing, and and then we
Don't
get
say, pull out
there,
that purse. I have that purse handy dandy.
and then I start pulling out stuff. Like, okay, here we go. um, and even it was so sad. On one event, and I probably should say this out loud, but I'm saying it. So, we bring our water bottles, and my son has a water bottle too. So we stuffed his water bottle with snacks. So, so we walked in, and the lady was like, "Oh, you can't." I was like, "Yeah, it's my water, though. I really got to have this water." And she's like, "Okay." And I was like, "Oh, he's got his." And she was like, "Okay." Yeah.
If she
So
catches you on YouTube, she's gonna be on that water all
she's like,
the
"I
next.
know you, lady."
I know you. That is creative. That is creative. But you gotta make it work for you
Yeah.
because nobody else is gonna look out for you. And those
No.
snacks are so salty and high in fat that they
Mhm.
serve there. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Even at my son's swim meet, when we first started the journey, and I realized what was at the concession stand, which is sad because we volunteered to work the concession stand, but I still, and I'm not gonna say I saw a problem with the food, but I didn't see the issue with the food.
What is it? Yeah.
Now I can see issue. I'm like, we've been here since 6:30, and we got M&M, Snickers, Kit Kat, chips. We had fruit cups, but they left an hour ago. Like, and we here to watch kids swim. So, and we got 2 boxes of donuts. Like,
Well, what's going on?
where's the healthy food? Like, can we get some protein, something, some peanuts of some range? So, yeah, when I started looking at the snack bars, I was like, oh, I can't. Y'all finna mess me up. Like,
Yeah.
I'm finally
So yeah,
making
you
my.
do have to kind of include that, so what made you include your significant other in it? Yeah, that you call the co-parent.
Because stress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a lot of stress, and I just like, dude, your life choices have huge impact on everybody. But in
Yes.
the same breath, my life choice to be on this medication has a huge impact on all my kids, whether I continue to live or not. The money that I'm spending, the choices and watching what I do, which is why I'm gonna come back to my wrestler. So I don't know if you're familiar with wrestling, but they have weight categories.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are placed in a certain weight category and you show up to compete and you're overweight, you don't compete. They don't
Mm-hmm.
move you to another. No, you are
Right.
145. If you are 147 when you come in, you don't compete. And this is her 3rd year in wrestling. In the first year when she did it, her sophomore year, I saw a lot of girls develop issues with wrestling.
Mm.
A lot of issues. One girl, her parents even pulled her out because she had dropped so much weight, and she was starting to have the issues with the hair falling out and things like that.
Oh man.
And I will be honest, because the coach is my, he's my coworker, and from what I can tell, it's not him putting the pressure on the kids; it's the kids feeling pressure to be a certain weight. They call it bust weight. Oh, so and so bust weight, so and so bust weight. And I'll pull up to drop my daughter off, and this kid will have on like 4 hoodies and 3 things, and he's
Trying
running
to
back and
lose.
forth. I'm like, girl, we not doing that. And
Mm-hmm.
when she started seeing me change how I ate, I didn't want her to start thinking, okay, well, if my mom's losing weight like this, I need to be doing this. And
Sure. Yeah.
that's not what I wanted for her. So I wanted all my kids to be aware of what I was doing, why I was doing it, um, and so they could pick up the good health style changes,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
also kind of double check themselves. Like,
Yeah. I understand that.
and even now I see the issue with my son. He's 11, but when he's just sitting, he's thinking of food. Like, he has food noise. And I've talked to his doctor. This was back in August when he had his well check. And I told her, I said, I'm a little concerned because of him always wanting to eat. Now, he's always been a bigger kid, period. I mean, he came out a big kid. He was 16 pounds at 2 months, and that's just on breast milk.
Wow.
Yeah, my baby was huge. They were like, "Where's the sumo wrestler? Where is he?" Because he was just
Mm.
a big boy. So we knew, he was going to be big, but I can't condone him being big because of food noise. They say once you know something, you know it. And now that I know what food noise is and it is a thing,
You gotta act on it.
yeah. And it was very eye opening with my doctor, or with his doctor, his pediatrician, because she was like, Alanda is, well, she was like, Alanda, it's kind of new, but it's been old. But now with a lot of, and she kept saying Ozempic, with a lot of the Ozempic medications, people have now coined it food noise.
Yeah.
So we as doctors and researchers have to look and find, what is it? Where does it come from? How do you combat it? And she's like, if I actually send you to a nutritionist for pediatrics, they're going to want to put him on a diet. But
Oh,
we know
wow.
that that's not the root of the problem. And I was like, right. And she was like, so just give me some time. Trust me, you're not the first parent to realize it. And so we have an appointment for January. Hopefully,
Oh,
she's
good.
able to figure some things out. She doesn't want to put him on medication. And to be honest, he doesn't need medication. He is extremely, extremely, extremely active. Yeah, he's just gonna be a big kid. I mean, he's a big kid. Yeah,
Yeah,
people
it
look
sounds
at
like
him.
he needs a protein focus too, like up in his
Yeah,
protein. And when he's getting bored, find something else to do,
yeah,
to keep him busy. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that'll work out. January, you're on it. So that's the first
yeah,
thing, awareness and doing something about it.
yeah.
So that's great. Tell us about your clothes journey and like you're trying on different things. And I mean, you're looking good in your new clothes. So what have you done with your old clothes? Are you out with the old, in with the
Mhm.
new? No, so you held on to those clothes.
Yeah,
Okay. You think
yeah.
you're gonna die? You're not getting back in those clothes?
I hope I'm not getting back in those clothes. Cause you know
Oh,
that's the hard part when we've done this. You've lost weight
yes,
and been
yes.
like, okay, and then you're like, hold on.
Yeah, I think
um,
mentally though, you have to let them go so that
yeah,
you don't even have that as a crutch. Because I think that could be a crutch that you can lean on. Well, I always got something I could put on.
yes,
Then you know what? Then get you some, budget spandex
yeah.
and go from there if you need to. But
Ex-
yeah, you'll know what to do like when you get to it. But I think you should let those clothes go because you don't want that security in the back of your mind to let yourself go back.
and that'll probably
So
be a summer task
yeah.
to
Oh
go
yeah.
through. But I will make you laugh. So my daughter, my 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 twins are size 10s, and I was giving them a lot of my size 10s 2 years ago. Well, I've been like, hey, do you still have those navy with the little white polka dots? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm gonna need them back.
Oh,
And they're
you could
like,
get back in 'em. See, look at that. That is awesome. That is awesome. I love that. So tell us, if there was a newbie starting this medication, what would you say to them? What would your number one piece of advice be?
um, number one, that's a hard one because my gut says drink your water, keep things moving. Um,
But
protein,
what protein?
yeah, stay
But
on the
what do
protein.
you wish someone had told you when you started? Because your doctor, said,
Mm-hmm.
drink your water. She told you those couple things. What is something that you wish somebody had told you that they didn't say? That they didn't, no one knew to say?
Okay, see now you're about to get me crying. So, I made that promise with my mom. Um, I made a promise with her. I made several promises, and I've done everything on my list except for losing the weight. And with everything I did, I never once did it by myself. Like when she said, spend time with your cousins, I took my cousins on a trip and we bonded, and that has set us for a great situation. Um, get my son in a private school. I got him in a private school. I got my other kids in a private school, but I did it with people. Like there were people to help. Hey, Allanda, do this. Hey, Allanda, do that.
Okay.
I used to be a grant writer, so I was able to network and pull some strings and kind of do what I needed to do. But the entire time I tried to lose weight, I was always by myself. Every single time I was always by myself. And so when I uploaded that first video and the community grew, that is what changed for me. It's because I had people who were going through it and sharing their experiences and helping me along my way. where I think that made the difference, my entire weight loss issues. If I had support, and Weight Watchers, they have a support, but let's be honest, I saw those people once a week and they fluctuated. You know, I might see the same lady twice. Um, but we didn't know what was going on with each other. And a lot of times, we're putting our best foot forward. Like, oh, look, I really
Yeah.
stayed on track this week. But with this community, I can be like, y'all, I faulted. I ate this whole row of church crackers and got really sick. Or I went into the store and I saw a whole row of mochi and I wanted every one of them, but I didn't get them. And that's because I have a community. There are people who are on their journeys, not like mine, but similar. They understand the struggles, they understand the battles. And I feel like if I was alone, I would not be successful. I probably would have been like a lot of people and would have got off the medication. I actually talked to a cousin yesterday on the phone for 2 hours who is on Mounjaro. Did not know. Did not know. And I mean, she and I got on the phone, started talking about food noise, and she's on Rodolphus. I don't know the name of the medicine.
Oh, it's like the appetite suppressant.
Yeah, she's on
Okay.
that. Um, her insurance has changed, so she's on her last box of Mounjaro. I mean, it was probably one of the best conversations I've ever had with my cousin. Like, truly, true. I was at the wrestling meet and I was like, hold on, I'll be back. And next thing you know, I'm 2 hours in the hallway talking. My daughter's peeking out like, oh, Mom. I'm like, I'll be there. And even like with her, when she got off the phone with me, she was like, girl, that was a good conversation. I was like, right, right.
Yeah.
And it's
And so
because,
you can relate to her, and she can relate to
yeah.
you, and you can relate to her.
And
'Cause I
so,
wondered that, 'cause I think I said that to you. I said, "You seem like you have a support system, why do you feel
yeah,
alone?" And, at first, I didn't get it because I was isolating myself, I felt like. But now that people know, 'cause I wasn't telling people. Now
yeah,
that people know, no one asks me about it. I have the one BFF that'll ask me,
yeah,
how I'm doing. She follows up, she checks up. She does not, she's, has weight issues for her. Like she's gained
mhm,
like 30 pounds for her. That's a lot of weight for her. But so she's not like she, has always been big or anything it can relate. But she's seen my struggle, over
yeah,
the years. And besides her though, most people, they don't ask you about it,
mhm,
and I couldn't talk to them anyway because they're not on this journey. And I don't even expect them to watch my videos because, they're watching, they can't relate.
right,
And so now if I needed them to support me at an event or something I was doing, they would show up. But so I get why people feel, even though they have family, you still feel lonely, and why this community is so awesome because
yeah,
I feel the same way. This community is so awesome. I mean, they lift you up and it also holds you accountable. So I think you
yeah,
were so smart for, going through that, going uploading that first video, like we always say, upload
mhm,
that first video. You don't care what it looks like. And you upload that video and you'd be surprised at who makes the connection. Because there are a lot
yeah,
of Alandas out there. They're just
yeah,
not sharing their story on YouTube.
yeah,
And so I've learned that too. There's a lot of, downsizing divas out there that aren't sharing their story. And so, I think it's great. I think it's great. And get your sincerity and just your how you care and the way you tell your story. It's entertaining, but we also are rooting for you.
yeah,
Like we just want to see you do well. So I mean, goodness gracious. So let me ask you
uh-huh.
now, I was going to ask you this question because you already rehearsed your answer. I already know
I did.
it.
Because when I heard that question, I was like, that is such a good question. How
so
would
what is
I?
so what is one word to describe yourself before you started Zepbound? What would the word be?
It was present. I was there. I mean, I would break my neck to get somewhere to watch my kids. Yeah, I missed a lot of stuff with family to go be with my kids and support my kids and be there. And that is really the center of my journey, is realizing that the body I was in couldn't keep up with everything going on. And like we said, I have circle of friends. Like I have the swim friends, I have the school friends, I have the work friends. But in all those circles, we only talk about swim meets.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and
Right.
I was there, but is that really living? No, I was just there, just being me and
Well,
watching
what
people
about
blow up.
now? What about now? How would you describe Zepbound now, or your life as you're living? Because you're living
I am
Zepbound, living
living.
the Zepbound
I
life.
am. I'm living on Zepbound. I am. I'm living, and it's weird because when I came up with the title for the channel, um, I said I was living. I'm living on Zepbound, but I was existing with Zepbound.
Okay.
I
Okay.
didn't get to truly living until like the summer, where the old Allanda was like, "Oh, you're not breathing heavy. You could probably go for a walk." And then I like, "Let's go. I'm out." And then I started noticing myself moving faster. Like, "Ooh, okay,
And we saw those exercise TikToks and
okay.
videos.
Ooh, ooh, let me put a weighted vest on and slow myself down." Man, when my kids saw that weighted vest come out, they were like, "What is she doing? Who finna go work out?" Like they did not think it was for me.
That is
And
too
I
funny.
loaded it up and it just motivated me and I loved it. Like I do. I miss working out, Alonda. I do. I just haven't figured out what's gonna keep me liking it.
Yes. Yes.
You
I
could
can
take a
relate
class
for
and
sure.
enjoy it. But then it was like, well, that was fun, but that's not something you want to keep doing. And
Right.
I've got to figure out what I want to keep doing.
Me too. I'm in that same stage. I'm just doing it because I think I should. I want to get
Right.
to the point where I want to do it because I look forward to it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Like
I
I have
think
those
I'll get
spurts.
there. Yeah, I do too. I think I'll get there. I'm just not, I don't know if I'm there yet. So maybe coming up because I'm going to start incorporating these weights. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna try something a little different with you because I want you to think too hard about this. This has to be off the cuff. So, and also, I'm gonna say a word, and you tell me the first word, the first thought that comes to your mind, the first word that comes to your mind when I say it.
Okay.
YouTube, just one word. What's the
Fun.
first word? Fun.
It's fun.
Eli Lilly.
Working on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on that. Because I do love their medication. I do. And I can see it helping in so many ways, even in my addictive personality. Like, because I get on something and I stay on it, which is where some of those weird cravings came from.
Mhm.
And I don't really have those now. I can recognize that I don't have those, but the factoring of greed irritates me.
Yeah.
Um,
Most people feel that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
All right.
everyone
So,
deserves to prosper, but you
does it
know,
have to be that much? Is what you're saying?
right? Because then, can people really? Can you prosper if people can't afford it? Like,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, compounds. What's your first word that comes to mind when you think of them?
bridge. It's a bridge.
Bridge. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes. A great word. Great word. Teaching.
love,
Family.
precious.
Precious. Wonderland.
I'm here.
And
I'm here.
I told you earlier, I said, you're not just in Wonderland. Like, you didn't just make it to Wonderland. You're in there. Like, you're not just at 199. You're at 198. You're in there. I love that. Weight loss.
A journey.
A journey.
Yeah, I
Okay.
would
Yeah.
want to say struggle, but there's some good parts. So
Yeah.
it's a journey.
And what about your mom?
Oh, I miss her. I miss her. Uh, I do.
And I'm just gonna say to you, we're in that unique club that lost our
Yeah.
moms, and your mom is so proud of you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Before she passed, I mean, I was the only child. She was a single mom. So, in a lot of ways, my mom was truly my best friend. Truly, truly my
Oh,
best.
mine too, yes.
And so, when she got ready to pass, she was like, I'm not going to come back as a butterfly. And I was like, okay. And she's like, but whenever you hear this song, know that I'm thinking about you. And she passed in 2007. I've probably heard the song about 4 times. 4 times since
Wow.
that. And it's always when I need it. Uh,
Oh, isn't that good? That's
Man, it is.
God's grace. That is God's
It
grace.
is
That
so
is
when I
your
need it.
angel.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Thanksgiving, I was having a moment because I had been avoiding the scale. I was like, you know what? You had a good week. You've been doing your thing. Do not touch the devil. Leave the devil be. I had even put my 2 scales on top of each other, so
Mhm.
to deter me from stepping on one of them. And Thanksgiving Day, I walked in my bathroom and they were separated. I was like, who came in here messing with my scales? Like, put the scales back. So I put them back, but then I was like, should you step on it? Should you step on it? And this was Thanksgiving morning. So I took a breath and I said no, because if you step on it and you haven't hit Wonderland, you you might mess up everybody's Thanksgiving. You got a house full of people. You might mess that up. So, with the scale, I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to mess up everybody's Thanksgiving. And I didn't. But then within about 5 minutes, my kids were watching, I don't know, they were watching something. It was like a preview to the game or something. And a clip of the song came on that my mom talked about. And I found
Oh,
myself like in the bathroom, boohoo crying, snot slinging, and I felt like that was her saying, "No, you don't need to step on the scale. You are okay. I'm with you." And
aw.
I went through the rest of the day with no problems. Yeah, I do feel like she's shadowing me, and I got it. Yeah. And it's all
I feel
truly because of the community. I'm
oh, sure.
not alone when I feel like I am alone. I'm not alone.
No, 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 you're not. Oh, that's a great story, and I have a similar experience with things going. So whenever you feel like you want to talk to somebody with your mom and share some stories, call me. Call me. I might call you and
Okay.
say, "Hey, I need to talk about this," right? Because my mom's birthday is December, coming up in December.
Yeah.
Christmas was her favorite holiday, so it's just gonna be rough for me. Thanksgiving is a little easier, and I think it's because I'm busy cooking and doing all that. So, it's just like, but putting up that tree and, I don't think people don't realize because, you come with a smile, you present with a smile, you're going about your life, but it's a struggle. It's a
It is
struggle.
a struggle.
It's
Yeah.
a struggle. But we have guardian angels, and so
Hmm.
I'm thanking God that I'm as strong as I am because you never know what you can handle until you have to deal
Yeah.
with it. So before we leave, tell us about your YouTube channel. Tell us, we know why you started it. You did such a great job of sharing that. But tell people where they can go to find your channel and watch your videos.
Yep. So I'm Allanda 180 because I've been to the 80s, and so I feel like I can get there. So we'll see. But Allanda 180. I do have a TikTok, but I don't really TikTok. From what I hear and what I see, they mean over there. So
I heard.
I don't play around over there too often. But I do have an Instagram, and I believe a lot of the Instagram people are actually Facebook people because I recognize a bunch of the names.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of people, if they want to reach out, they will reach out through Instagram and share story. Yeah, I mean it's some people want to share their private journey
And not
because
put
they,
it
they
on necessarily YouTube because
yeah,
everybody can, yeah,
and they
yeah.
can write. It usually takes me about a day to get back because a lot of times I will open a message and be like, ooh, and then I'll start writing it, but then life happens. So
Sure. Yeah.
I'm at a
Yeah.
game, I'm grading papers, I'm in a parent teacher conference. And
Yeah.
so it might take a day for me to go back and be like, "Ooh, let me finish this up."
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
YouTube
thank
is my
you.
number one.
YouTube is your number. Yes, yes. And
Yes.
I just started on Instagram. I haven't gotten into it like I should, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. One step at a time.
Yes.
One step
And
at a
well, to
time.
be honest, that day when I was like, "Ooh, I need her," you were right there, and you were
Ah,
like, "I just opened this account. Perfect.
yay.
Perfect. 'Cause I
Yeah, because
need
you're
your
like, I
help."
searched all over, I couldn't find you. I'm like, yeah, I'm here now. I'm on Instagram.
Yes.
So I have to
Yeah.
get that going. I'll probably have to call you to help me get that going. I don't know
I'm
what's
here.
going on over there. But well, Alonda, it's been such a pleasure. We laughed, we cried, we shared. I really enjoyed talking with you.
Thank
And I'm
you.
looking forward
Same.
to more to come from you. We never said what is your ultimate goal? What's your goal weight?
150. My
So
doctor would like to see me get to 130.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see you on that journey. And I love how you said you don't have a time to get to there. You'll get there when you get there. So
Yeah.
we're looking forward to getting there with you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again. I won't say goodbye. I'll say see you in the next video.
Yes.